All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Uh, I'm really excited for today's show, and I'm so happy to be back with a screen with my two co-hosts, with Luke and Felice, Elijah. Um, Guys, I am gonna admit this show is gonna feature your guys' perspectives way more than me and my monologues, and I'm so actually excited for it. And I know my mom, who says she enjoys listening to you guys a lot more than she does her son because she's heard him too much, is gonna enjoy this show because this show is inspired by the Paralympic rings. And before we dive right into that, uh, what's the puck talk going on for you guys in your local lands? If we go around, I have way too much that I need to collect my thoughts about because today was a big day in my household. Uh, how do you feel if throw it over to you, Felice, and then we'll end off with you, Luke, because you guys got a lot of puck talk going all the way back to last weekend. We missed you guys last weekend.
Yeah. So last weekend, Manitoba, for the first time in 14 years, we brought a team down to play in the 204. It hasn't happened in 14 years, like I said. So we versed Minnesota, Quinnesota. They did not have Quinn Hughes, though. And steamrolled them 3-0. So that was pretty great. We also got a tournament coming up next weekend in Montreal, but we can leave talk to that for next time.
For the audio listeners, I was just sweeping hard, and that wasn't for the curling that happened at the Paralympics. That was for these boys at the Cross Border Classic last weekend. We'll get more into that 204 puck talk, but I loved it. I got to tune in live and online, but I cut you off, Felice, Elijah, as I'm bad for doing. Uh, were you done? Forgive me.
No, I don't got much. Don't got much more to add. Luke talked
Throw it
about.
over to you, Luke.
Yeah, so just a great weekend. Um, First off, just kudos to you and our Bulgarian insider for holding down the fort with the trade deadline preview and recap there. So great stuff. Yeah, we had the big cross-border classic last weekend, and um, I know for me, just pretty cool because last time we played in Winnipeg, me and the other arm dog brother, Isaiah, we played a game for Minnesota, so now kind of I'm in full circle and with the provincial squad and having all our family out who haven't seen it before and other friends and stuff is just a great weekend and yeah, got the brooms going.
Yeah, and for me, uh, the puck talk is always going and the puck watch is always going here in my household with managing two teams and me being kind of more a behind the scenes coach in one and then me being full on supporter for my girls. Getting out to see you fellas with my son was an absolute treat. I was kind of talking with you guys before the show and just kind of pleading a bit of ignorance to being involved in the puck talk that you two are so dedicated with, and I'm looking forward to bringing more of those stories to the forefront because I'll tell you, like between last weekend at the Cross Border Classic and getting a front row seat, and yeah, selfishly drop the blog in the chat too with some fun writing of the inspo story that Team Toba had for me and my son. There's a really great picture in there of my son and one of his best buddies, and they're just on the glass and they're just captured by you guys and the puck. And it was one of those moments. Hanging out with a couple of the crew from our ball hockey crew and some from some of my past prior team connections. It was almost like a family gathering coming to your game, guys. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It just felt like there was so many connections in the stands, and it just like almost made my heart beat 5 times bigger, like the Grinch or whatever that line is. And it was something that really inspired me and actually got me writing the blog again because I just couldn't actually pick it up and try to write 32 National Hockey League connections after the best on best. And we go from the best on best Olympic to the best on best Paralympic. And oh my goodness, guys, this tournament, as I subscribed and tuned in, had so many storylines that I didn't even know. Like I was pretty ignorant. Obviously, the Olympics has the cachet with having the big names. And we kind of came into the tournament talking before about the Tyler McGregor inspo story and the commercial that had me having the cutting onions reaction in the kitchen. Um, Knowing that story, but then finding other side quests was one of the highlights for me of tuning in, and did a lot of this kind of stuff with my class of watching the Paralympics too. It was one of those things I felt like should be just as much a part of the viewing if we had a little bit of a tune in break to some screen watch or highlights, as you will. Though the main event was this morning, and so we want to really bring it back to that, and the main event being the gold medal, which if everybody would have predicted who was going to be in the gold medal, it was a pretty it was going to be a pretty good guess, pretty good prediction if you had Canada versus the United States. I will give it. We were watching it in my class, Team China versus Team Canada, and China played their hearts out. Um, Canada was buzzing, like they had the opportunities, though China was right there neck and neck. It was a close scoreboard for a while there. Um, but getting to the gold medal, um, watching this morning, uh, maybe not completely deja vu, Luke, but I'll throw it over to you with a little bit of the overview.
Yeah, so we had gold medal Sunday here yet again, and starting off in the first period, Canada got into some penalty trouble, and Jack Wallace, uh, dual athlete, sledge puck mover, and rower, sniped the first one there to get it started. Canada was kind of on their heels there for the first period, kind of just holding on, but got into the second, and Liam Hickey got a power play goal for himself and tied up the game, and looked like there was some hope there, but just a few minutes later, the rookie Aiden Beasley on USA made it 2-1, and then Jack Wallace yet again made it 3-1, which was a bit of a crushing goal there. Um, as we move on to the third period, Jack Wallace completed the hot trick. Just an unbelievable performance by him. Uh, Hate to see it, but tough one. Liam Hickey then after he doubled down and sniped another one and 4-2, and you never know what could happen. There was lots of time left in that period. But unfortunately, Canada went on the power play, but Declan Farmer, Paralympic point and goal record breaker, scores a shorty. And that was kind of the dagger, and Brody Roybal finished it out with the empty net. And USA capped off their fifth consecutive gold medal. Final score 6-2. So
Oh, yeesh, eh?
That was 25 Farmer had, just to let the people know.
25,
25
25
points.
points.
yeah, in 7 games.
Yep, 7
Do the
games.
do the math. Wow. What a
It's a lot.
performance. What a Paralympic performance. Yeah, I have to give that and get your bingo cards. I'll give that guy his flowers and a medal, right? Like that that's one thing, especially to do a shorthanded. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, like that hurts. I've seen it enough in minor hockey where the power play ain't so powerful, let's say. But when you're playing best and the power play should have a little more power, and those ones hurt. And yeah, that's like you said, that's the dagger. But Felice, I kind of want to bring you into the chat because when we were warming up, you said there was a bit of controversy in the red thread. And the one thing I think we could all say is the red thread jerseys need to have the red leaf again. None of this black leaf. I'm sorry,
Tough
I'm
to
not saying anything, but like we either gotta go with the red leaf, like on this hat, or we gotta go with the white with the red. I don't think that that was a good. What do I know about fashion? Probably not much, but that jersey didn't do it, and there was controversy connected to that jersey. Felice, to you.
Yeah, so in 2024, Canada finally ended the USA streak, and we actually beat them in the World Championship. That was Moose Jaw, right? That was when it was in Moose Jaw Lake.
Calgary.
Calgary? That was Calgary. Down in Calgary. I don't remember how long the streak was. It was a long time. And we had our starting goalie, Kingsmill, Adam Kingsmill, who pretty, like, ask any player who the best goalie is in the world, they'll say Adam Kingsmill. But this year, we decided to start Corbin Watson, which I can see it. He's had a lot of experience, played on a team for a long time. I think he went into retirement for a few years and then came back. But
Yep.
we decided to start him over Kingsmill, which, from my personal experience view, I don't see why you would do that with when you have a guy who's actually beat this team before.
That's
It's a hot
could
take.
could this be a comp like you would go with Big Game Binner because he's been there in that big game and he knows how to get it done versus maybe the shine or not the shiny new guy because you said he came out of retirement. No, I'm pleading a bit of ignorance.
I would say this is more like a they took the seasoned vet over like kind of like the it's he is kind of like a big game winner. Like he is newer still, but he is good in those big games. He's good all the time. But
Yeah,
like Corbin Watson's like your seasoned vet. Maybe this is like maybe he's retiring again and they wanted to give him one last like Paralympics gold or something, but when it's in this
Kind of like
scenario,
the flurry kind of Matt Murray Pittsburgh playoff
oh
season
yeah,
yeah,
winner.
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
comp.
yeah,
That helps
yeah. That's
my
good.
ignorant brain.
Yeah.
Whoops.
No,
Yeah.
because I think it's something that might be I didn't want to cut you off there, Felice. Uh, that's kind of the overview on that one, that controversy, hey? Like the Watson versus Kingsmill.
Yeah, like most people would take Kingsmill in that game right there. So
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but when it's three gold for south of the 49th parallel, and then we got three silver, and Canada is investing in silver raw metals. I'll put that in the chat later. But yeah, when you have three captains looking at a silver medal around their neck, probably, and feeling a bit of the disappointment because Canada only sees one color when it comes to puck talk, when it comes to best on best. Um, Anything else is not acceptable. I think the one thing we joked about this when we played NHL, right? That when Canada lost to undisclosed team that we won't disclose on the podcast here because we don't want to bring shame to the lands. But when Canada lost in Shell night with the three of us being those that served it up, that there was going to be a summit for Team Canada like after Nagano. Um, I'm just thinking, and I'm just the guy that's arriving a little bit late to the Sledge Paralympic chat. If there was a summit, would you say that the next generation going into France and the French Alps and the Olympic Paralympic best on best. Uh, would one of the key ideas drivers maybe to drive the bus going forward is play the young guys? What do you guys think of that? Can we throw that around the horn?
Yeah. I'd say just kind of taking a look at the two rosters. USA's kind of got a few of those younger studs coming up. Um, they got Liam Cunningham. Um, Jack Wallace is still quite young, and you kind of look on the Canadian side, and it's a lot of guys kind of older. You see Greg Wesley kind of coming out of retirement. You see a guy like um, Watson and net there, coming out of retirement. Kind of a bit of an older crowd. And you kind of just take a look in the cupboards and kind of try to look at what's kind of coming up through the system. And there's not a ton there. So I'd say if there was a summit, it'd be kind of developing that grassroots level and really building for the future and looking to pile up some more talent and some more speed. So I'd say that'd be a room for improvement for the Canadian side going forward. And yeah,
Yeah, because that wouldn't just be the Paralympic focus either. Because I think like looking back to the women's game too, speed was what really did them in, especially the longer the game developed and into overtime, you really saw the American speed take over. So I don't think that that's a yeah, I really like that one, Luke, is the youth and probably the speed. Felice, what
yeah,
do you think?
Yeah, like well, for Canada, like our real advantage has always been our goaltending. I don't know what it is with USA, but they don't seem to like the cross-legged setup that Canada uses, which has always kind of like dominated goaltending because you're so much bigger. You can kind of like prop up. But then like we do have a few like young guys you could say coming up. Like one guy I still don't know why they don't ever take Matteo Pellizzari from BC. He's a W amputee who's an incredible player. Played against me a few times. Never beat him, of course.
No,
Um,
never beat him.
nope, never beat him. We've come close, but I don't know. Just seems to always just he's almost like versing Declan Farmer. That's kind of like what it feels like for like we're Canada versing Declan Farmer. But
So it'd be like you being on Team Manitoba, you're silver and he's gold.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Sure.
times like
But
four.
Okay, let's put some respect on that name. Mateo, what was the surname?
Pellizzari, I could be butchering that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Pellizzari.
Yeah,
Matteo Pellizzari. Watch out,
he's
everybody. Might be coming up.
I think he's 18, maybe 19.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah,
that if you're aging and planning going forward 4 years from now, because selfishly dropping the blog again, but talking about T-Mac, Captain Canuck, Tyler McGregor. I was looking at his story and not to go on a little bit of a side quest here, but I like the comp here of age with Mateo because when McGregor uh, there's no easy way to say this. When he gets his broken leg and he's a budding prospect, right before the OHL draft, he breaks his leg. They find I wanna respect the spindle cell sarcoma, the bone cancer. They find that from him breaking his leg in order to save his life. There's the amputation, which if you've seen the Air Canada commercial, that's what's got me in the kitchen with the cutting onions reaction because there's the blast from the past, right? There's the blast from the past where he's in hospital scrubs and he's looking out onto the ice surface, and it's T Mac looking from to the blast from the past and from the future. And I do this all the time with time travel with my students. I love the concept of time travel and maybe the why the 32 thoughts time machine is coming up. But when Air Canada has the words that complete the story, when T Mac with the C on his jersey and he's looking back at himself and it says from a broken dream, another can take flight. Um Tyler McGregor was 15. It took him 3 years, I believe it was, to get like back to it and to really refocus himself. Because I actually found in my research that he tried doing oh what would we say, hockey with a prosthetic leg to try, and then he found sledge in 2011, and then he really dove into that in 2011 and then got named to the team. I believe it was shortly after 18, if memory serves me right. And so what a story there of inspo. I know we kind of touched on this earlier, but I believe stories like these demand more airtime, and it's a little bit for those of us who maybe have been hyper focused on the Olympic hockey, Paralympic and sledge hockey, especially with you boys with the Cross Border Classic. And I know I'm going on my monologue here, but with this, if looking forward to the future and there's players that are 18 and then in 4 years in the quadrennial cycle of the Olympics, if we're looking 4 years from now, a prospect like Mateo would be 22 and probably bulking up and be at more of a peak where we can't do a comp to maybe celebrate him because he was 19, but we could look at a couple comps of guys in their early 20s who are because of the nutrition, because of the training, you're at peak physical form even as a young man at 22. That gets me excited. Thanks for dropping that name.
I hear he actually he just took this year off of school to focus on sledge hockey specifically. So
Let's go.
he
Keep an
seems
eye on that
dedicated.
name.
Yeah, yeah, keep an eye out. And I'll be with the 32 tots being subbed for 5 rings, Paralympic and onion rings. I think the flavor of sledge hockey is gonna be in there. You better count count on it going forward because there's so much there that's going to be fun to pump up for the next 4 years, right? Um, so we were talking about a summit. So we got a young name now at least. We might have some hope, and it's one of those things. I don't think we can completely discredit veteran presence and leadership because that is necessary. That'll be a little bit of a theme later with some of the 204 cross-border talk. Though I did want to just talk about Greg Westlake a little bit and his story. Luke, you've been following this a little bit more than me. If I could throw it over to you about Greg Westlake and being a sole survivor, returning to the team, could you give us a little bit of the story? And if we went over it too quick and I already forgot, forgive me. But for the listeners, a little bit more about good old Greggy Greg.
Yeah. So Greg Westlake, last player on this current roster that was there and back in Italy in 2006 for the last time the Canadians won the gold medal at the Paralympic level. Um, Joined by Billy Bridges and Brad Bowden, a couple legends in the Canadian para hockey history. So got the job done with those boys in 2006, and then had a long career after that. And just a few years ago, went into a coaching role with Team Canada as he announced his retirement. And then just 6 months ago, I believe, kind of pulled the Tom Brady card out of retirement,
Nice.
made the Canadian roster, and was out there making the puck in the lawn. So pretty cool story there. I know he battled a little bit of an injury throughout this tournament, so just the dog and the warrior and Greg Westlake to come out of retirement. I know he's got a couple kids who are not around kind of the last time he played, so probably cool to kind of be a dad this time around, just having his kids watching. So it's
Oh,
a great comeback
100%.
story there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like speaking as a dad, like being able to do that would be to be an example, right? Like that's the cool thing that I'm sure is a part of that story where he can kind of live with it. And Luke, I love how you said it. Pulling the Tom Brady card. That's unreal. I was gonna say maybe more like Mario Lemieux, where this is me taking in the quick time machine travel, but I remember watching as a young boy and Mario Lemieux coming back out of retirement and then going on that run with the 2002 Canadian Olympic team and ending the drought of 50 plus years of drought of Canadian gold. Um, though, though we don't have the ending per se of what Mario was able to do. So maybe Tom Brady is maybe the comp. I don't know because he came back and back and back, and then he finally actually didn't win a Super Bowl his last time. But
Yeah.
I just I love these stories, and I wrote about it just like pretty briefly. But yeah, that whole idea of him being the last survivor of beating the Americans per se in 2006 in
Yeah.
Italy, that would have been a nice story if it would have came full circle. Hey, but even just the full circle of the program, right? Like
Yeah.
there was this era. It was called the Golden Era. Obviously, they won in 2006. Maybe we'll have to do a little bit of a time machine travel to that team because I think there would be so many good stories and players there as well. Though going from the golden era of 2006 and then being here in 2026, like, I just can't think of that for anybody on this Olympic team. I'm just talking like Olympic. Like I couldn't think of anybody being on this team and then 20 years in the future being on the team again. Like Celebrini, I guess, but it's not like he would be coming out of retirement. Like this guy's story is
No.
inspo central.
Yeah. And
Felicia, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Like, is there some other story? It doesn't even have to be Greg Westlake, but is there another story that kind of like within this Team Canada team? If you just want to focus on that. Or you could focus on another one, but is there one that's kind of like jumping out to you besides the controversy of the goaltending?
Another one that's jumping out to me. Well, there is a pretty cool story of Liam Hickey. He was very talented. I don't know if we mentioned this before, but very talented sledge hockey player and wheelchair basketball player. And he
Oh,
basically had to like pick between like which one because they didn't want him playing both. Thankfully, he went with hockey and is now like one of the best Canada players ever. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was something I'm so glad you brought it up. Like in a little bit of my research on the tools was like the dual sport athlete thing. I think that those are always the coolest connections where you have the dual sport. Um, Yeah, and maybe selfishly, like I'm coaching basketball right now with my school, and basketball was my recovery sport after hockey didn't go so well for me after a couple of years of hard coaches. But that is a cool connection. And obviously any boy from the Rock, like he's from St. John's, Newfoundland. And for us in the 204, like we'll always love St. John's and the Tim Hortons ice caps, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and anybody that comes from the
yep.
Rock.
Yeah, he competed in Rio in 2016 in the summer games and believe he was the youngest athlete on that squad and then followed it up in Beijing a few years later with the sledge hockey. So
Yeah.
That's
pretty impressive resume. So yeah.
yeah, like come on, you can be in two best on bests. Like uh I can't even do one, and I can't even do it. Like, yeah. That's why I turned to being a coach. Like, and it was one of those things talking with my class this past week. It was one of those things watching this and like keeping an eye on the different Paralympic sports. It was like I was talking with some of the students, and there's people that are going down a ski hill visually impaired, following following a leader and like being on the headset of when to make their cuts. And
Yeah.
just like if you can't if you can't have a higher level of respect for that level of compete, I don't know if I could convince you with any opinion, reason, or example. Like that, that for me, I can barely do it being like able to know where I'm going. I'm planning to go to the mountains on spring break with my family, and we're going to be going to the mountains. And like it's going to put a whole new level of perspective on the level of Paralympic competition that is just so inspiring for me. We just couldn't help but talk about it in my class this past week. Um, that's a little bit of a side quest, but I get very excited by competition. If you guys didn't know that already, now you know that.
You couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell, hey, Felicia?
Nobody knew.
Couldn't tell when I was getting all hyped watching you guys last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I was back row. I need to be the bird's eye view. If I'm having one seat in anywhere, it's got to be back row, and I got to have the full scope of the ice. Though is it okay if we go on a bit of a side quest, you guys? Because Luke, could I? We were talking about this in our chat this week about the German national Paralympic hockey team. Um, do you want to give just a little bit of a connect with the Germans? And then I did more of the deep dive, and I got notes in front of me. If one of the guys that I'm gonna have to talk about is Jorg Wende, if I'm even saying that right. But Luke, to you.
Yeah. So I had to put it in the blog. Germany got out of the freezer. And
Thanks for
first
plugging
time,
it.
yeah. They got their first Paralympic win in 20 years, I believe, to the date. So pretty impressive for the red, yellow, and black colors there. Um, so just an unreal performance. I'm blanking on the name, but they had one guy there who just potted all four goals in the game and secured them the victory. So it's the unreal individual performance, and yeah,
Felix Schrader. Put some respect on the name. I got it on the tools. Felix. Felix
Felix,
4.
yeah, Felix four for Felix. Put some respect on his name. Just
Yeah.
unreal performance by him, and gotta feel happy for the German squad after all they've been through the last 20 plus years, kind of just going up in the ranks of the C division and the B division, and finally securing their spot in the Paralympics for this year and coming out with a win.
Yeah. I love how you said that, Luke. Because yeah, being frozen in the freezer, whatever you want to call it, but really coming back from a really challenging course back to the highest level and being at the Paralympics. Um, was a pretty cool story that I would like. I was ignorant about it until you kind of dropped in the chat. I'm like, oh, there is a tasty tot or a complete ring here where they started in yeah, like a 20-year journey. This going back to the original time that they had it back in Italy is kind of a bit of a theme here tonight. And for them to make that 20-year full circle and to complete the ring and get back to it. Um, and I can't help but borrow this from some of the research that I did that in the German media, um, they were talking and they called this the Milano Creme. And I got to work on my German. It's from my heritage, so I got to do a little bit more research. That's on me. Probably have to do some Duolingo and brush up on it. It's probably there in the genetics somewhere. But the most recent chapter of their story um that happened this past week where like after a rough start with the Paralympics, they were kind of on the cusp of a do or die classification game. And like you said, Luke, the Felix 4, Felix Schrader, so on March 12th, just to date stamp it of 2026 here. The German media dubbed it the Krimi, the thriller, where forward Felix Schrader put on a performance for the ages, like you said, scoring all four and sealed a 4-3 victory in overtime. So it's one of those things. I remember watching Slovakia in the first game against Canada, and Canada was just taking it to them. Canada was obviously first game, like they're buzzing, they're back on the Olympic ring ice, right? And so for them to be on the other side where we're putting respect on the mush middle national players. Now we're doing the mush middle, maybe international teams, and somebody's got to put some respect on these stories, right? Like you kind of don't know until you learn about it. And this is one of my favorite things from quote from Coach Peter Weilmann will put some German emphasis on there. He said, despite being behind, we really stepped it up and came back. This is a huge success. I'm so happy for the whole team and for German para ice hockey. And nobody knows if Felix inspires the next Neon Leon in para ice hockey in Germany. Who knows? Nobody knows yet.
Nobody.
Piano on a sled coming soon.
Yeah. Though it's one of those things, for me, I love highlighting this stuff and writing about it for my own learning. And for me, I always have to write stuff to remember it. This is the joke with me and the crew. But for me, with writing this stuff down, it's one of the things with these characters involved. Because this guy Jorge Wende, uh, he's also known as the Paralympic Opa. And okay, come on, like that is unreal nickname. Because I had an Opa growing up. My son, like my dad, was open to my son. So that one is a heartthrob for me. Where Wendy is 60 years old. Okay, fellas, 60 years old, and was part of the original 2006 squad, and he completed the whole ring. His return to ice hockey 2 decades later, like I don't know, he's like the heartbeat of the team, and as like the Opa, um, in my family lineage, the Oppo is looked to as the leader, right? And so
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Like that's uh
Yeah.
that's a cool story of its own right. Felix Pot in the Ford, great. I know. I love this. I love this Paralympic Oppa.
Just the journey for him. I bet he's got some great origin stories and kind of the comeback of the German program there. So I'm sure he's got just some great tots in there over the years, and just for him to kind of complete the full circle is just super special. And competing at this level at 60, I can't even imagine. So
Yeah,
unreal.
like the stories he must have. Hey, Luke, like over that time, like I might really have to dive deep into the German. So maybe we could get an interview with the Opa, because that would be crazy stories. But
Yeah.
I would have to learn a lot of German. I'd have to learn a lot because the stories are always better in the original tongue, right? Like to hear it in
Yeah.
German, imagine speaking and hearing all of that with like, sorry, I'm really speaking into the German here, but most German talk sounds like you're really mad. But maybe they're just really passionate, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
They got the passion.
yeah.
We don't
Felice,
know. Somebody knows.
somebody knows more German than we do,
Yeah.
and we'll figure it out. Oh, excuse me. That was a fun one. That was a fun one. Um, well, boys, I want to kind of shift gears if you guys feel like it. Is there any concluding thoughts on the Paralympic rings before we get into the 204 land puck talk from the cross border series? Because we got a little bit more to unravel there because I want to drop my digger of the game that I saw.
There's a couple small details like could bring up China, second ever medal, bronze.
Second ever?
Yeah, second ever.
Yeah.
Oh
They
wow.
really they really haven't been like too much of a threat of a team these last 4 years. I'm pretty sure they started up a program where all their players are getting paid. So they're really going at it. Like if you were to ask me if any team was to beat Canada or USA in 2 years, it's gonna be China. I could see them becoming a wagon.
They got
Well,
So
some diggers on that squad. Shout
you
out
saw
to
diggers?
Shen Yifang, one of the top athletes in our sport, just across all nations. So
Yeah.
unreal. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, I got to do a little bit more research there. That didn't come up in my blog, and forgive me, but yeah, put your money where your mouth is, Canada. If you don't want to get driven over by the wagon of China, I guess we got to put some money into the team. Sheesh, if China's funding it, look out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little bit of controversy with Italy as well versus Germany. Like Landros, who is Italy's top player, he used to play with Team USA. He won a couple golds with them, in fact. But I guess he's got some Italy heritage, so he played with them. Was a key part to them beating Germany in that 5-6 placement match. So
Ooh,
Also hit a Michigan.
also hit a mish, which was
a
pretty gross.
Mishi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? Oh man, you guys didn't send that in the chat. Well, it's my fault. I should have it in the algorithm by now. Oh
We'll
wow.
we'll clip it and ship it over.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
clip it and ship it.
clip it and ship it. Put that on your bingo card. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a spicy thought. A guy going back to Italy, like that's almost like Alex Patan with the Olympic rings. That's cool though. I
Mhm.
kind
Yeah.
of I kind of like that because I'm still waiting for my jersey to come in the mail, and we'll drop that yet. You guys are still waiting for your jersey. Nobody knows when those will show up, but that was from the Olympic rings. Might have to get a Paralympic ring jersey. Imagine getting an Italy one. That'd be
Really kind of
I
cool.
don't know. I don't know. If you were to get a Digger Nation, this might be one of our conclusions. If you're thinking of a Digger Nation for the Paralympic rings, like does it have to be Germany after what they did? Or what did you guys see? Bro, Germany, China?
Yeah. For me, like if I were to get a Digger jersey from the Paralympic rings, I might have to just order a German jersey and just throw OPA on the name bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe number 60 on the back.
60 and Opa. That's unreal. That
Yeah.
might be a have to. I already got my German Dreisaitl. So you get the Opa 60 to match. Then we'll head out and I gotta come with my son and we're gonna be hitting up the sledge as soon as we can. We're just buzzing here in the Ryan household. Playoffs and tournament of aces right now. It's just buzzing. So yeah, that would be too much of a side quest. 5 games in 1 weekend, fella. I'm feeling it. I can't even talk straight. So, bookending the Paralympic tournament. Anything for you, Luke?
I think Felice kind of covered it nicely there. Just another great showcase of what these athletes can do. And I think
Yeah,
the gold medal game there, they broke uh, para ice hockey history with crowd of 11,500, which was a new high. So pretty
that's
cool to
Sold
see
out, I'm
that in
pretty
the
sure.
sport.
what was that?
So I'm pretty sure they sold out the stadium
Yeah.
Sold out
for
this.
the gold medal game.
It wasn't a big stadium. Like I think you are
No.
right because 11,500 sounds about at capacity, which is unreal. Like,
Yeah.
and if the Italians didn't know that this sport by now they know it.
Yeah. Pretty cool to just see the representation um, and all the fans who came out to that game. So just
Yeah,
awesome for the growth of the game. And yeah.
yeah, yeah. If you want to hear more of a story, me, Luke, and my son had a pretty cool story when it came to talking about hockey and sledge, and maybe if you were to talk about the Olympic, Paralympic, whatever, may not focusing on the differences, right? Hockey is hockey, and the one thing that is the biggest inspiration for me to maybe bookend this for me is the level of physicality, the level of compete. Um, this is not a second tier or an alternative or whatever you would want to call it. Like this is hockey, and this is hockey representation that um, I am fully subscribed to now. um, Not only after the Cross Border Classic was kind of the primer for me last weekend, it was the one day on Saturday where I watched Canada's first game against Slovakia, I believe it was. Um, and then I go and watch you guys, and then it just became a week theme. And I think it's kind of fitting to bookend it in that kind of way where hockey is hockey. If you don't know, now you know. And I think growing the game in this capacity is probably one of the things that I feel most excited for continuing this puck talk with you guys.